Hey you guys, it's TeresaPlusFive, and I'm back with another video. So as you guys can see by the title, the truth, that's exactly what this video is going to be about. The truth. My truth. Now this video isn't to bash anybody in my family, but this is simply how I felt and how I am currently feeling about the situation with my grandma. Okay? So let me bring y'all up to speed. My grandma went to the hospital because she was complaining of dizziness and weakness. And, we're figuring out what's going on with the medications. Why is she dizzy? Why is she weak? All of that, right? So they wanted to do a procedure on my grandmother. And I'm going to be honest with y'all. Me and my family don't have the best relationship. They pretty much alienated me and made me feel like I'm the bad guy. So my last resort was to call them. But I'm respecting my grandma and trying to include them. I feel like all of the women in my family, mainly all of my cousins, including my aunt, feel like I always stepped on their toes when it came to their relationship with my grandma. Now, they have deep-rooted traumas with that. I won't say what those traumas are, but they have some issues to work out with my grandma, not me. Like, I'm not the issue. It's not a Teresa problem. It's a their problem, okay? So me and my aunt, we called the rest of the family and let the family know what's going on with my grandma in the hospital. All of my cousins agreed, hold off on the procedure. I agreed. And then it came to a point where my grandmother had to go to a rehab facility. Because of the medical condition that occurred, she had to be rehabilitated. There were two options for her to go to a rehabilitation center where they work with her 5 to 6 days out of the week for 45 minutes, or she gets a home health aide for 2 to 3 times a week for 45 minutes. So my aunt and my cousin agreed she should go to the rehab facility. Like, that's the best decision for her right now. While she was at the hospital, she was striving a little bit. Like, she was pumped up today, and then the next day she was weak. So she finally goes to the rehab facility, and she's weak still because her knees bother her and all of that. So she can't really do the rehab the way she's supposed to because of her knees. The more days that my grandma is at this rehab facility, her condition is worsening. Like, her health is decreasing, it's declining. Because they're not pumping her up, they're not giving her, any vitamins, any real nutrients. They're feeding her fish sandwiches and fries and Kool-Aid and all that. That's not helping her, right? And also, she was next door to a COVID patient, and they took her pot away. Like, she can't walk at all, you guys. Like, she has to be put on the pot and all of that. So every day that I'm going there, you guys, I'm getting sadder and sadder because I'm feeling more hopeless. I can't do anything much. And it's hurting because I can't take my grandma back home with me. My grandma keeps emphasizing, I want to go home. I want to go home. Am I home? And we're like, no, Mom, you're not home. You're at the facility. So that alone broke me down. And my grandma, I was there at the facility today, and my grandma held my hand to her heart like this. And it gave me that feeling that she's tired, you know. It gave me that feeling that maybe this is, you know, her last time. I don't know, you guys. It was a little weird, but I understand she loves me so much. So maybe, you know, she just wanted to be comforted, right? So this part of the story is just wild to me. Now, me and my grandma had already discussed how she wants her arrangements to be. God forbid something happens to her. We've already talked about it with her doctor, with me and her alone. So everything was squared away. She's saving money for those arrangements. She told me, handle the situation, and whatever's left, Teresa, you get to keep. So I decide, out of my kind heart, to split the money in half with my aunt, since she's been here helping me with my grandma. Of course, that's her mom, so she's, you know, she's helping anyway. But I felt like, oh, I should, you know, offer her a kind gesture like that. She goes off to tell me, oh, you're lying about how much money grandma really has and blah, 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 blah. And I just can't take the manipulation. I should have kept my mouth closed about my grandma had any money saved. That's what I should have done. Because I didn't have to tell my aunt about anything my grandma had saved. But I did, and I regret it, because now I know she's going to tell the rest of the family. And now I know that's going to be one more thing for the family to be against me about. Mind you, when my grandma was home sick and dizzy, my aunt was the first person I called. I hadn't talked to my aunt in months before this. And the reason why I hadn't talked to my aunt in months before this is because me and her daughters were feuding over something just so petty and stupid, right? But I'm petty myself, okay? So I can take pettiness to no end, okay? So we all weren't talking. Like, I was just out here with my grandma, taking care of her, and they were doing whatever they were doing. And that's a part of the issue too, because y'all, I get tired. So, you know, helping out my grandma and doing things for my kids, it's a lot. I enjoy doing it, but it's a lot for one person. And mind you, I hadn't talked to my aunt because she's the same aunt that called me a devil and agreed and jumped on the bandwagon with the rest of the family and said, yeah, Teresa's always the problem. She's always starting with us. But even when I distanced myself, they still had problems. So who's really the problem? Okay. One other particular night, my aunt was like, oh, well, we haven't been coming out there. Because I was like, well, I need help with grandma. Y'all should start doing things for her as well. And she was like, yeah, I can agree, but they didn't come out here because, you know, the little situation that y'all had. I said, but what does that have to do with them coming to see their grandmother? Their relationship with their grandmother has nothing to do with me. And they've always blamed me for everything that goes wrong. When my grandma gets sick, oh, well, Teresa, we all thought that you were encouraging grandma not to take her meds. Why would I do that? And she's an older person. Oh, well, every time I come out here, there's nothing in the refrigerator to eat. Baby, I go shopping all the time for my grandma. My subscribers can tell y'all that. You can see the food that I bought. Now, when I put it in the refrigerator, I'm done with it. I don't know who's eating it, who's taking it out, who's cooking it, whatever. I just do the shopping and take the food to her, okay? Because she's not mobile anymore. And then it's, oh, well, you know, I wonder how this could have happened. Yeah, me too. Because I thought I was doing the best job that I could possibly do for her, for my grandma. So I'm figuring out why this happened as well. But I'm not going to question what's happening. Okay? I'm not going to question what's happening. Maybe it's a lesson for us, or maybe it's a way for us to come together. But it's like, my aunt literally just called me a liar today and was like, oh, well, you're lying about how much money grandma had. You didn't even know how much she had, so how can you even say I'm lying about it? But anyways, the same aunt who called me a devil, and I still was willing to split half of the money with her, with whatever was left. And she flipped it on me. So I'm just going to back up a little bit from her. You know, she's barely getting any sleep at night, sleeping about 3 or 4 hours a night, worrying about my grandma. I'm worried about my grandma too, but I got to get my sleep as well. And I said I wasn't going to go to the facility for maybe like a day or two, you know, to kind of collect myself again, because it's a lot, you guys. I can't just sit there and my grandma, you know, having to go to the bathroom and the nurses coming 30 minutes later. I can't deal with that. And the nurses already told me that my grandma can't go to the bathroom on her own. She can't get up. And my aunt just insisted on putting her on the pot to go to the bathroom, knowing she can't get up and walk. Like, my aunt just moved too fast sometimes. Like, she need to just sit down somewhere and collect herself. That's what she really needs to do. And then my grandmother's mind goes in and out, okay? She'll tell my aunt one thing, and then she'll tell me one thing. And then when me and my aunt come together, it's two totally different things, because her mind is going in and out now since this medical condition occurred. So it's very difficult for us to communicate with her now, because it's in and out. She may say yes, but then tomorrow she may say no. And that's really hard for me as well, you guys, because my grandma was like my diary, y'all. And I express myself a lot with Taylor, which I probably shouldn't, because it puts pressure on him as a kid. But my grandma was my human diary. I told my grandma everything, every problem that I've ever had, I've told her. And now I can't really talk to her and express to her how I feel about everything anymore. That would be selfish for me to go to the facility and talk about how I feel about everything. And then my dad, on top of that, he goes to sneak and sign himself on the lease without my grandma's permission. And then put all his little stuff in the house, his TVs, remote control cars, or whatever else he has, he put it in the front room. So he's having a ball making himself at home while my grandma is at a rehab facility trying to recover. Trying to recover. In his mind, he thinks that is his apartment now. And unfortunately, y'all didn't get no food stamp video from my grandma, because she allowed him to go to the store with her food stamp card and spend the funds. So when my grandma gets ready to come home out of the rehab facility, she's not going to have no food unless she buy it with cash. So my aunt will really be able to say, well, it ain't no food in the house. It's like nothing I ever do satisfies them. And I'm not doing it to satisfy them or get a high five from them, but it's like, where have y'all been? When she gets sick in the hospital, when she got to go to a doctor's appointment, when she need food to be put in her house, when she need her bills paid, where do y'all be? Dealing with your own lives. I've been handling it all for years, and nothing went wrong. And as soon as something goes wrong, it's Teresa's fault. And I got so frustrated, y'all, that I actually took it out on my kids. Like, I'm so frustrated, you guys, that I'm taking some of it out on my kids. Now, mind you, my kids, are a little hyper. It may be this whole thing with my grandma is probably affecting them as well. So they don't know how to act with this. So they're all over the place as well. And I'm frustrated already about the whole situation with the doctors calling me and I'm calling the doctors and the facility not doing certain things. And I got to get on them about doing certain things and, stay on them about the physical therapy and all of this other stuff so she can come home and be, halfway mobile at least. It's just so frustrating, y'all. It is really frustrating. It's like all of that I did doesn't matter. Like, how do y'all think she became 87? How do y'all think she been so healthy now? Well, before. Like, come on, y'all. They blame me for everything, literally. Oh, well, mama phone was on silent. I couldn't get in touch with mama. Teresa must have turned the phone down. Like, why would I do some weird shit like that? Why would I make it incapable for you to talk to your mom? That's crazy. Real crazy. Why would I try to sabotage y'all relationship? See, the thing is, let's get into it. The thing is, the rest of the family is guilty for not being there for my grandma for years. They're guilty. And only my aunt and my cousin and my dad has been to the facility since she's been there. None of them hardly wants to come out and see her. But I'm the problem. Make it make sense. And I feel like my auntie is going in and out too. Because it was certain things that we discussed, we agreed on, and then she goes back and says, oh, really? We discussed that? Like, girl, you need to go home and get some sleep. For real. For real. It's just a lot, y'all. It's just a lot. And I said I have to back up a little bit. Before I curse my auntie out, I need to back up a little bit. Because I know how my family is. They're all defensive. As soon as I tell them how I feel, like how I'm telling y'all right now, they're going to get defensive. Oh, see you, there you go. You being like your daddy. Oh, see, there you go. You all off topic. It ain't even about that. Yeah, because I'm getting on y'all ass about how y'all doing. And the thing is, me and my aunt both agreed when my grandma come home, it's going to be a lot. It's going to be a lot. We're going to have to help her shower, help her go to the bathroom, cook for her, make sure she get the nutrients that she needs, all the healthy stuff that she needs, the shopping, the paying the bills. All of that is going to have to be done for her. All of it. Just like what I was doing. But now it's going to be more because she can't get lifted. She has to be lifted up. She has to be assisted when she walks now. And then on the short where we were taking her on a walk, she was fine. She was fine. And then even with the blood pressure, because I already told y'all about that. Even with the blood pressure, one day her blood pressure is fabulous. It's better than mine. Then another day, it's so high as the sky. Like, what is going on? I believe it's the medication. Like, she needs to be, we need to find her a high blood pressure medication that's going to benefit her body. Because these aren't working. I'm just so frustrated, y'all. I'm just so frustrated. I'm like, well, auntie, since you just know it all and since I'm the problem, let me just back up. Let me just let you handle everything with grandma. Let me just let you do it. And then my aunt and my dad, they be feuding. It's just a whole mess. And I really didn't want to come on here and tell y'all this, y'all. I was really, really hesitant I'm telling y'all this because I don't like to put out family business. But this is my truth. This is how I feel about it. I'm not bashing anybody. I'm telling how I feel. Like when my aunt called me a liar and said, oh, well, it's just the fact that you're lying about how much grandma has saved. I didn't know in particular how much she saved. That's why I had to count up the money. That's why I had to count up the money. Because I didn't know how much she really, really had. Because she'll take out money, put money back. Take out money. I'm not there when she's taking out money, putting it back. And now you want to blame it on me that I'm lying to you about how much money she had? Like, girl, I got to back up from you because I feel like with that statement you made saying I'm a liar, you feel like you don't trust me. And if you don't trust me, I don't want to be nowhere around you. I don't. And it's like I hate to back up now because my grandma needs me. She needs me. When some of the nurses ask her, who is this? She'll say, Teresa. Well, who is Teresa to you? My grandma say, my niece, because she's going in and out. Hey, go my auntie. Oh, that's her. That's her granddaughter. Okay, girl. But in my heart, that's my mama. And you can't take that away from me. And that's a part of why the whole family is jealous because our relationship was like this. And now that she's going in and out, I feel like that relationship is kind of fading. And I feel like my aunt is like kind of intervening in. And I know my grandma told my aunt to do certain things, like as to pay the bills now because my grandma know I have the kids. I can't come see her like I really want to because I have the kids. It's a lot. Kids don't sit still. They're all over the place. Even when I tell them, sit down, you guys. We're just here for a little while to visit grandma. They sit down if they get my phone. But my thing is, it hurts when she says, oh, well, who is Teresa to you? And she says, my niece. Or sometimes she'll call my aunt, my other aunt's name, because she's going in and out. And then one time she was like, oh, Teresa, I raised her. So we know she's there, but sometimes she's not there. Or sometimes she'll just be talking out the side of her head or something, as we call it. But y'all, it's tough. It's very tough. I can't really talk to my grandma the way I want to talk to her. Now I have to express it to y'all because my grandma was literally my diary. Literally. I told my grandma everything. Whether I was right or wrong, I told her. And now it's like it's putting a strain back on my relationship with my aunt because I have a kind heart. Them the kids in the background, y'all. I have a kind heart, auntie. So why would you jump on the bandwagon with your daughters and say, oh yeah, Teresa's always been the problem. Teresa's a devil. And then when I have to forcefully talk to you because grandma is sick, you call me a liar. It's like you keep picking and picking and picking. And then if I tell you how I feel, you're going to get defensive. So there's no need to even tell you about it. And then when I back away, then it's a problem. It's a problem. But I am going to back off a little bit, y'all, and let her handle it. Let her see how hard that I worked. I'm going to let her see how hard it is to deal with your own thing and then have to deal with an elderly person. And I'm not saying this to say my grandma is a burden, but let's just be real here, y'all. That's a lot of pushing and pulling and shopping and bathing and all that stuff. Like, it's a lot. And that's why when y'all was like, you can get her health insurance to pay you. I don't want to be paid. Because it's not about the money for me, y'all. It's not about the money. It's never been about the money for me. I've always did everything for my grandma for free. If she decided to give me anything, then that's her deciding to do that, y'all. I never asked for her no money. That's why my aunt was like, oh, I feel like my aunt thought I was trying to be on some creep shit or like trying to scheme and take my grandma money. And she was like, oh, well, I don't want to be no parts of it. I don't want half for the money that's left. I don't want half for the money. I don't want no parts of that. Okay, it was just a suggestion. You don't have to. I don't need the money. And I let it be clear, I don't need the money either. This is my grandma's money that she been saving for her arrangements. This ain't none of my money. I'm holding it for her because she's in a facility. It's not mine. I never claimed it as mine. I got my own money. So I don't understand what the mishap was, but I got to cool off with her for a little while before I curse her out. Because she's the type of person, she's very opinionated, and I'm very opinionated. And it'll just, and my grandma not here to, diffuse the situation. She's in the facility. My grandma usually diffuse the situation, be like, oh, well, y'all don't need to talk about that right now. So we'll stop. But now that she's in a facility, we can keep going for hours and hours and hours and hours. So I'm just like, you know what? I'm just going to, just distance myself a little bit. And I hate to do that, but I got to keep down bullshit. Because they already look at me as the bad guy. And it's like I have to keep proving myself. Fuck them. I'm not gonna prove myself to none of their ass no more. And I'm sitting there like, the fuck I gotta lie to you for? You ain't nobody to lie to. The fuck? You're so paranoid of being lied to by your narcissist husband that died that you just feel like everybody out to get you now. You let him manipulate you for years. Talking about, oh, I ain't got time for the manipulation. You let that manipulate you for years. Years. Treated you dirty. And then when he died, you still gave a damn. How that work? Make that make sense. But yeah, y'all, I'm done with that. I'm done with that. I'll just talk to my auntie when I need to, y'all. That's how that's going to be. That's it. I'll go to the facility and see her on my own time like I've been doing. But as far as all of the communication, I ain't finna be doing all that no more. Because when we be texting, she misconstrued what I say. I misconstrued a little bit what she say. Because she ain't putting periods and exclamation points. She ain't, it's not proper grammar. So I don't know what she really trying to say. But anyways, you guys, that's my truth. That's how I currently feel right now. I love my grandma. I do, y'all. I love her with all my heart. And I'm going to still be there for her. But baby, when she come home, I'm going to do my part. If she want me to shop for her, or if she want the healthy stuff, or whatever she need me to do, I'm going to do it. But I'm not going to be behind my auntie with it. That's just it. So, I thank you guys for listening to my feelings and my story and my frustrations and how I feel about it right now. And, I'll definitely keep y'all updated on what's going on. Okay? So, bye.